Welcome to this lesson where we are going to take a look at the type of composition that comes in section A of paper 1 called argumentative composition. Argumentative composition. So what is an argumentative composition? An argumentative composition is a composition in which you need to argue for or against an idea. Okay, there's going to be an idea that has two sides. Okay, the side that can support the idea and the side that is not supporting the idea, the side that is agreeing with the idea and the side that is not agreeing with the idea. So you have to choose a side and persuade the reader to agree with you. Okay, so you have to choose a side and then persuade the reader to agree with you. So because it involves persuading, to persuade is to convince, because it involves persuading someone or convincing someone to agree with you, it is sometimes called persuasive composition. Okay, so here are some key points to consider when writing an argumentative composition. Okay, so first and foremost, I need you to know that the layout of an argumentative composition is the same as that of a narrative composition, a descriptive composition. Okay, that is, it has a title, it has the introduction, it has the main body, and it has the conclusion. Okay, so the difference is how you write it. Narrative, you tell a story, you narrate a story. Descriptive, you describe, trying to paint pictures. Okay, then argumentative, you argue for or against. Okay, if you have done debate before, this should be easy. If you have watched debate before, again, it should be easy. In debate, people are going to be arguing about this and that. That's what argumentative composition is all about: arguing for or against, supporting something or be against something. Okay, so that's the essence of argumentative composition. So here are some key points to consider when writing an argumentative composition. First, in the introduction, show your side. I'll repeat this point. Okay, show your side. Are you supporting or are you against? Okay, which side are you on? Are you on the side that is supporting the idea or the side that is against the idea? You have to show your side. So clearly state what side you are on. Before you can even start writing about the reasons why you support this side, you have to state which side you are on. You can't be in between. No, you can't be supporting both sides. No, you have to support one side. Okay, so that is, you have to show if you are for the idea or against the idea. For example, let's say a question says, should free education be abolished? Okay, so if you think it should be abolished, make sure that the reader knows. If you think it should not be abolished, let the reader know. Okay, let the reader know why it should not be abolished or if it should be abolished. So choose your side. If you think free education should be abolished, let the person who's going to read your argumentative composition know. If you think it should not be abolished, let the person know that you are saying that it should not be abolished before you even start writing the reasons why it should not be abolished. The second point is give reasons why you support the side. Okay, it's not just about saying I agree it should be abolished, I agree it shouldn't be abolished. Give reasons. Why do you think it should be abolished? So the reasons you give them in the main body. The reasons you give them in the main body. All the reasons, 6, 7 reasons, you give them in the main body. This is section A, paper 1, meaning that you need to come up with the points on your own. You won't be given points, so you need to come up with the points, then you get those points, then you write them. Okay, so give reasons why you support the side. If you think it should not be abolished, give reasons in the main body. If you think it should be abolished, give reasons in the main body. So here is a reason One of the reasons why free education should be abolished is that it has made schools to be filled with more children than teachers can manage to effectively teach. Okay, this is the reason that should be contained in the main body, showing why you think free education should be abolished. So these reasons, you write them in the main body. Okay, and if you look at the way I've started my reasons, it's one of the reasons why free education should be abolished. Okay, I'm stating that this is just one of the reasons. I'll come up with other reasons again. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is when you are introducing your point, be creative. Don't just bring your points like you're just like maybe at this point, instead of adding these words. One of the reasons why free education, you just start. Free education should be abolished because it has made schools to be filled with most children. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But if all your points are starting like that, they seem so disconnected, so you need to connect them. Oh, one of the reasons is this, the other reason is this, the other reason is this, just like the way I've been emphasizing on letter writing and the likes. Okay, if of course you have done letter writing. Third, when you give reasons, if possible, where possible, please provide evidence. Okay, give evidence to support your reasons or facts. What's evidence? Evidence is uh, I don't know the vernacular word for evidence, but when I was young, I used to do debate, so I was told that it means it's some sort of a witness, okay? Something to support that what you're saying is true, that you're not speaking from without, but from within. And these are the English I've used here to show that I'm not writing from without, but from within. You can be using this when doing argumentative. It's good to show that you're just not speaking nonsense. If you want to produce your evidence, you can say, to show that I'm not writing from without but from within, here is the evidence. Okay, so the evidence is just anything to act as your witness. It can be a newspaper, it can be some results that were published at a school, for example. It can be anything that anyone can go and see and verify that what you are saying is correct. You're just not speaking your opinions, but there's something that is backing up there's something that is backing up your reasons. So where possible, give evidence. To simplify your understanding of what I'm trying to say here, here's an example. One of the reasons, which is what I'm from writing already, why free education should be abolished is that it has made schools to be filled with more children than teachers can manage to effectively teach. Here's the evidence. This is evident by the low pass rate the country experienced last year. So no one is going to say, no, the country had no pass rate. ECZ, this is just not a real situation. If ECZ last year announced that the pass rate was not good, so no one is going to argue against that. It's something that is supporting what you are saying, that actually the pass rate has gone down. Okay, so this is evident by the low pass rate the country has experienced last year. Now let's go back to in an actual exam. So in an actual exam, you have been given this question. You have points on this question, but it's an exam. You have to think when you are writing right there and then. Okay, when you are planning before you start writing, you have to think the points. You can't produce evidence. You can't be sure. You can't remember. What was the pass rate? So you just we don't expect you to be accurate. We're not testing your knowledge of civic education or your knowledge of geography to expect you to know things. No, but you can create a hypothetical situation in which you are showing that you know how to write. Like you say, this is evident by what was contained in the Post newspaper that came out on 15th February, this and that. There's no such a newspaper, but you just create it. People know that you know how to write. Okay, it's all about showing that you know how to write, not that you are knowledgeable. I hope you get my point. Okay. 4, you have to other than showing the evidence, like the last year the result, the pass rate was bad. If it's possible, also show where you are getting that evidence. Like I'm from saying the example that had to do with the newspaper. So example, the same one which I wrote, one of the reasons why free education should, I'm just adding, should be abolished is that it has made schools to be filled with more children than teachers can effectively can manage to effectively teach. Okay, this is evident by the low pass rate the country experienced. How did you know? How did you know? So this is the source. For the Doubting Thomas, the Daily Mail newspaper dated 30th January stated a decrease in pass rate from 80% to 30%. So someone will say, ah, but me, I've never heard of the low pass rate in Zambia. Then they can go to this newspaper, which came out on 30th January, and they will see this, okay, where it is stating the low pass rate. So, but of course, in an exam, you create just a fiction situation. Fiction means not real, okay? Just imagine a situation where you say, oh, there was this evidence and stuff, because it's an exam. We don't expect you to be knowledgeable. Now, when you write all the points, and these points, someone is reading them, they are alone, you're not there, they are reading, then they're like, ah, no, this one does not know what they're talking about, because maybe the pass rate was because there was a new syllabus that was introduced. That's why the pass rate dropped. It's not about the free education. Okay, so someone can argue, but you won't be there to defend yourself. So if they read your point and they see it to be nonsense, so they'll just, this person is writing nonsense. Just after reading one point, they'll even throw your whatever you wrote. If it was published in the newspaper, they'll just throw it away. This person is writing nonsense. Okay, so you have to think about what others are thinking. The counter arguments. What are they saying to support free education? Okay, then when you identify that, then you show them that their thinking is wrong. So you can state, oh, others may say this, but this is wrong because of this and that. So you have to show counter arguments where possible. Okay, so you can also show what the people support the opposite would think, and show them why it may be wrong to think like they do. Okay, here's an example. Others would argue that it's better if all children are given an opportunity to be in school. But taking your own child to a school where she or he won't be given the needed attention is destroying your own child's future. So anyone who thinks what is important is children should be in school, even if they're not taught properly, then they're just sacrificing their own children, because at the end of school, these children won't be educated. They'll know nothing. Okay, so they have destroyed their own children's future. So that's the kind of approach used when writing argumentative. Think of what others may say, and show them that their thinking is wrong. Okay, so now what's the general layout or structure? Of course, I've said the general layout or structure of an argumentative composition is the same as the layout for these other types of composition. But of course, where do you put what? Where do you put what? In the introduction, what should you include? In the main body, what should you include? What are the proper words to use? What should you include in the conclusion? So that's what we're going to look at here. So of course, you start with the title. Okay, for example, title can be something like is free education worth it? Okay, the question can be, should free education be abolished? That can also be a title, but if you want, you can even add some spices, make it something that someone would want to read. Okay, is free education worth it? Then, oh, okay, what when someone sees your paper, they'll be like, or your writer, oh, okay, free education is not worth it. Why is this person saying this? Then they would want to read to see why you think free education is not worth it when everybody thinks it's worth it. Okay, so in the introduction, you have to use a catchy introduction to catch the attention of the reader. You know how we do it. In narrative, we talked about using catchy introduction, something that's going to persuade the reader to read the rest of your write-up. So use a catchy introduction to catch the attention of the reader. Okay, you can also give background information about the topic so that people know when did free education start, why was it started. Give some background information if you have. Okay, so that people know that actually this person is knowledgeable about what they are writing. They're just not some people speaking from without. Okay, show the side you are taking. I mentioned this. You have to show the side you are taking. Are you going to oppose or to propose? To oppose is to be against the idea. To propose is to be for the idea, to support the idea. So you have, in the introduction, show them which side you are picking. Are you for the idea or are you against the idea? Okay. So here is an example. Thinking that free education is good for our country is like thinking that you can dig a pit from Zambia to China using a teaspoon. Free education was introduced in our country in the year 2021 as a way of giving an opportunity to all children to be in school. I strongly oppose this idea. So let's break this introduction. This is the catchy introduction part. Okay, thinking that free education is good for a country is like thinking that you can dig a pit from Zambia to China using a teaspoon. Wow, digging a pit from Zambia to China using a teaspoon is what thinking free education is good for our country is being likened to. What the heck? What is this person trying to write? Why would they think that for free education? Someone would want to read your write-up. Okay, then after that, you give information about free education. Free education was introduced in our country in the year 2021 as a way of giving an opportunity to all children to be in school. So in an exam, like I keep on saying, in an exam, you can't be sure of these facts. You don't do civic education. You don't know when civic education was introduced in Zambia. Maybe you've forgotten. But so long as you're writing, people know that, because it's an exam, people know that, oh, this person knows how to write, even if it's not true that free education was introduced here, but they know how to write an argumentative composition. Okay, then finally I show my side. I strongly oppose this idea, meaning that I strongly don't agree with this idea of free education being in Zambia. Okay, so that's how that's how it should be. That's an example of an introduction there. In the main body, you have to write your points in a logical sequence. This is where now you give them the reasons why you support or you don't support. Okay, use words such as firstly, secondly, in addition, consequently, furthermore to join your points. Okay, example: firstly, free education has made one teacher to be teaching about 200 pupils per session. How can we be assured that each pupil is given the needed attention? Secondly, the failure rate, you see, it's a sequence. Someone knows that that was your first point. Someone knows this is your second point, just like that. Finally, in the conclusion, state again why the side you've chosen is important. People have to know why what you think is important, why the side you've chosen is important to be considered. Okay, state how bad things would be if your side is not accepted. You have to tell people that if people don't agree with you, this is how bad things are going to be. Maybe we're going to be having 90% of the grade 12s uneducated, illiterate, they don't know how to read and write. Okay, so you have to show that. Okay, and you can start with words that shows that you are concluding. Like in conclusion, I know most of you like to write in conclusion, but now that's for amateurs. You're becoming good at writing composition. You have to adopt new words like on a closing note, in a nutshell. Okay, those are the ones you need now to be using so that the examiner should be impressed. Okay, here's an example. On a closing note, free education is doing more harm than good. A world with free education would be producing thousands of uneducated school leavers each year. A world without it would be a far much better world. Okay, so on a closing note, free education is doing more harm than good. A world without free education, I mean a world with free education, meaning that those people are saying free education is okay, would be producing thousands of uneducated school leavers each year. Then a world without it, like the way what we are supporting, would be a far much better world. This is how to handle an argumentative composition. Okay, hope you have enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next lesson.